My goodness, hasn't it been a time? Alright, hi, yes, this is happening now because of a little FPS with a certain cowboy witch called Road, who had a conversation with a certain goose, and everything got accelerated, like, a lot. I didn't expect the character to react like that, but here we go. But before we get into everything else, may I introduce the sensational and frankly inspirational two people who are playing with me today. It is Kit and Sam! Yay!
Woo! We're back, folks.
Yes.
Getting the band back together, and by band,
it's been 84 years, but I am playing in a game again for the first time.
We're so happy to have you here. Thank you very, very much. Also, yes, we have a soundboard, and the players are allowed to use it too. So, we're gonna hear some stuff, which will be very fun.
Yep.
Thanks in advance to Obby, who is going to edit this video because I am too tired and too busy to do it. So thank you, Obby. Massive, massive props to Obby for doing this and helping with the soundboards, because Obby found some of the sound effects, so I'm like so excited about the fact that we have an objection sound clip. Actually, Sam, so do you want to give us a little objection just to warm us up?
Soundboard or my voice?
Soundboard.
Alright, me.
You're also allowed to use your objection!
There we go!
Hey.
Now we're cooking.
This is beautiful.
I don't think Mod and I can hear the objections, but
can't,
apparently
but
they're
I can
there,
hear it in
which is exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting trying to guess when sound effects are going off on my side. Some of them I can hear, some of them I can't, so... Oh boy, technical issues, and we've only just started. Anyway, 3 minutes in, let's start the game. So we are just going to start with you introducing your characters, if you could. So I feel like we ought to have Nick be introduced first, you know.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Alright, well, I'm Samaranth, and I'm playing Griffin Left, Ace Attorney, entirely original character, not based on anybody. You know, wearing his trademark blue suit, spiky hair, completely, I came up with this guy. And he is, you know, he became a warrior after spending, you know, like a few years of his college career studying to be like an actor, and then partway through decided that my childhood best friend looks sad in a newspaper, so I want to be a lawyer. And now he's here.
Makes perfect sense.
And he has his best friend, Ida Sylph, who gets to introduce.
Yes, hi there. I am CartoonKitsune, also known as Kit, and I am playing Ida Slyph. She is a spirit medium, currently training to be head of her family. And yeah, there was a whole thing. Her sister was actually Griffin's mentor, but then there was a whole thing. Her sister died. It was very tragic, but now they're best buddies, and she's his legal aid.
In a nutshell, it was very tragic. And now they're best friends! Yay!
Hey! At least we have friendship.
Horrific tragedy. It's the very important figure in both of their lives.
Very, very important.
Murdered. And then they were both in sequence accused of the murder.
Boy, howdy. But you know, that's how all the friendships start, really. Especially in this sort of zany world we live in. Actually, where do you guys live? Where is your office? Do you want to tell us just a tiny bit about that before I sweep you away on a massive adventure that you did not ask for?
I can do that because I have all the lore for this place.
Oh.
So, I may have gone off a little bit on the lore because I just love this place so much. So, these two are currently situated in the city of Los Anquio, which is it's a major city, which is actually kind of it's located like right on the border between Ghibli and Tezuka, Canada. And it's kind of an interesting place because a lot of people sort of immigrated to this area, and as such, it's got very much sort of a cultural meshing, melting pot sort of vibe to it. So basically think like San Francisco from Big Hero 6. So you got like the architecture's like kind of a blend of like, you know, we got like American cities with the skyscrapers. We also have the very distinctly Japanese sort of architecture. You got like some streets are lined with palm trees and like cherry blossom trees, like just kind of alternating.
I love that.
That sort of look. And of course, there's some very interesting kinds of cuisine here. Like, for instance, Ida's favorite food is ramen burger, which is a burger that has like ramen, like little ramen patties instead of buns.
Very easy to eat, that sort of very slippery hand full of carbohydrate and meat. Lovely. Actually, that is a perfect way to run into this game. So it is just about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and you're both feeling pretty hungry. You know, you've had a hard morning of cleaning the office and the toilet and watering your plant. So you're considering getting lunch. So yeah, probably you're looking for a ramen burger when suddenly, as soon as Nick, you open the door and a paper aeroplane flies directly into your forehead.
Ah! Oh, God. Oh, okay. This again, huh?
What happened, Griff?
It's the paper airplane. Do you remember from that time we went to that the truth town, the town that was obsessed with the truth, and
Huntony, right?
Yeah. We met the Bronze Bushido and all of that. Yes. Anyway, it's the same paper airplane. I don't know. I guess I'll look at it.
Okay. You unfold the, which is actually an extremely loyal paper aeroplane trademark, which is a common form of communication in Inkwell, which can, you throw it, it can reach any destination in a series of cuts. So you read the following message, written in an elegant sloping hand, if you would like to read it.
I'm sorry, this is dear lawyer people, need you again. Sorry in advance. Deltasong danger. Do you know who that is? I
want to roll history on this.
Yeah, sure. You roll history. That's a really good call. I like that.
Yeah.
We got game. We roll dice. It's happening. That's a 9.
I slap a guidance on that one.
Sure.
Right.
Okay.
Nice, so that's 13.
13 is passable. So you vaguely remember, like, there was something to do with some guy called Deltasong Danger who died, like, there was some to do with that. That's about as much as you get. You feel like he was an actor. You think he was, like, famous for something else, but then he died.
I was gonna say Ida might know him from, like, movies and stuff, because she likes movies.
Yeah, so it's like, it's just coming back to you, and unfortunately, this is the last normal part of your day, because suddenly, following up from the paper aeroplane, through the office window, something enters and explodes, and emits a fog of green smog. I would like you both to roll Constitution, but please know, you are both going to fall unconscious. I just want to see who comes around first.
Ooh, alright, so it's a con save?
Yes, con save, thank you. Unfortunately, you must pass out for narrative purposes. Okay, alright, well, it's pretty close, actually. So yeah, 10 and the 13. You both immediately hit the deck for rolls that low. You don't get any last glimpses of anything. Okay, so the first one to come around briefly before Ida is Nick. Nick, the next thing you are aware of is coming to very hazily with a splitting headache, and you feel like you're being carried. You can feel someone's shoulder in your midriff. Your hands and legs have been bound with rope, and you have a rough burlap sack over your head, and it's really itchy. It's like the worst. Yep. Do you want to roll perception?
Yeah, sure, I will roll.
You're gonna have to roll pretty well, I'm telling you. But anyway, good luck.
Good thing I have a +0.
Oh no!
Oh,
that's a 7. I tell you what, for what you're getting, despite not being able to see, you can feel plenty well enough as you are bodily hurled through the air. You feel yourself land on a hard surface, This impact actually is what rouses you, Ida, from your stupor. And yeah, you have landed in a random hard place, and you hear a like a big door has been slid shut.
Real quick, is it okay if I roll like a wisdom save? Cause this isn't for Ida's first kidnapping, and
yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah, this might be bringing back some memories, let's say.
Let's see how traumatized you are. Let's go.
It's decent, so fingers crossed on this one.
Where we have PTSD. Yeah,
oh no!
No, that's a nat one.
Oh no.
This does make sense for her character.
Okay, you are very disorientated, you are hyperventilating. Nick, you can hear this, so, you know, you're probably aware of what her whole deal is in the situation. You may want to say something.
Ida, is that you? Are we? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?
Griff, where are you?
I'm here. I think we're right next to each other. I can't see, and I'm tied up. But okay, we're gonna get out of it. We're gonna. Okay. Okay. We're gonna get out of this. We just need to.
I was gonna ask, are our hands and legs tied, or is it just like the bag?
Your hands and legs are tied. The bag is also tied to your head. It would be very difficult to get it off. And you are also aware from a slight kick, Nick, that you receive, that you're not alone. You also just heard the sound of definitely a steam engine. The entire room just rocked, and you hear the muted wail of a whistle.
Okay, we're on a train. They put us on a train. There's someone else here. Who are you? Where are we? Who are you? What's going on?
Not allowed to really talk to the defense, but you are required, so you have been, what's the fancy word? Subpoenaed. That's it.
That's not how that works, but okay. The defense are not the ones who get subpoenaed.
You're gonna find out an awful lot about how our system works. I'd settle down if I was you two. It's gonna take a while before we get there.
Okay, look, we don't fight, we're lawyers. I'm a lawyer, she's a legal assistant, sort of. Can you please, we don't need to be tied up for this. We're not a threat to you, whoever you are. Can you please just untie us and let us see and
roll
talk
persuasion.
to each other?
Roll persuasion.
Alright. Hey Griff, this is actually one of your stats. Yeah, no, he's not a very persuasive guy right now.
This guy seems like a bit of a hard case, and in fact, you now get the silent treatment. And in order to move the game along, you feel this train moving beneath you. If you roll around a bit, you know that there's like other things in this compartment with you, and you strongly suspect that you have been stowed in the cargo hold of some unknown locomotive. So time passes, and you have no way of knowing how much time passes. But I will say, it's in the realm of hours, and you didn't get your lunch, so you're feeling pretty hungry. Thirst and hunger are the only replies to your endless question. The guy does not talk any further. And eventually your uncomfortable mode of conveyance jolts to a stop, and you suddenly hear the you feel fresh air for the first time in what feels like days, but it has only been a mere 8 hours. I'd like you to roll Constitution just to see how banged up you are.
Straight con or con save?
I think straight con for this. Unless you'd prefer a save. I feel like straight con though. Yeah.
So yeah, my mod's the same for both, so.
Right.
Yeah, the same for me too.
All you doing pretty
Better
good.
than
Hey, we actually
expected.
did good.
Yeah, you got some resilience. That's an 18 and a 19. Very nice. All right, so aside from the growling stomach, especially from Ida, I think yours is the loudest. You're doing pretty
Definitely.
good. You managed to find what was probably a mail bag to snuggle into, so it wasn't too brutal on your bodies, and nobody takes any bludgeoning. That's great. Where are we? Ah, yes. Okay. So, at this point, you are removed from the train car and escorted on foot, surprisingly gently, over an untold distance. Your feet are unbound for this. I'm not going to make you hop all of the way, although that would be very funny. So, you walk. You're vaguely aware that you're probably in the woods, but suddenly you have, through the burlap, you begin to hear strains of pipe organ music, like jaunty carnival type music, and laughter, which is joined shortly afterwards by the distinctive smell of cotton candy, hot dogs, and buttered popcorn. The rough sacks are finally removed from your heads. It is time to roll perception.
What are you rolling?
Perception. Just looking. Like, you know, you have been slightly dinged up, and those rolls were really good, so you're not going to suffer any ill effects. Just see what you can see.
It's a 13 for me.
It's a 13. Yeah, you see
13
most things
15.
for that. That's good. So, dizzied as you are by your rough travels, the whirlwind of cold
Oh, wait,
lights...
no, I'm proficient in perception. That's
Ooh,
a
you are.
15. Sorry.
That's a 15.
Oh, nice.
You are. Very good. Okay, you actually get a little extra thing at the end. Alright. So the coloured lights and stripes fuzzily resolve into the great three-peaked form of an enormous circus tent in the middle of a wood, which is a very strange place for it to be.
God.
Pennant flags of turquoise and teal lash like serpents' tongues above the traditional pinstripe livery of the Hyukuza, now rendered so magnified as to create the traditional decorative vertical stripes of the circus tent's sweeping fabric. Streams of Toonkind wearing this familiar pinstripe fashion are entering the tent in front of you, which is surrounded by food stands. Your mouths are watering. Behind which you can see a clutter of vehicles and different mounts describing just how many people have travelled here in such a manner of ways. You feel like there must be hundreds of people coming here. Nick, you manage to, amidst these creatures and vehicles, to the right you recognise a Toonkind horse. This is What, and she has been clamped. She appears unfazed by this ill treatment, but you recognise this rubber hose horse.
I recognize the horse that hates me, yes.
How could you forget? Oh, for those listening who are new to what this is,
Okay.
we'll put the visual up. Okay, so that's where you are. Do you want to make any observations, or shall I plow on with my
Oh, God.
my
Did it have to be a circus? Oh.
And
Oh,
Ida's
God,
not talking. She's still pretty rattled by all this, but she's definitely thinking the same thing.
Your accompaniment, this is the guard who has been with you the whole time, who now appears to be a gigantic Goliath. It's just like this enormous hulking thing. And you're really quite relieved that you didn't have to look at it the whole time on the way here because it was just so like imposing. He looks down at you and says, "You really don't know a lot about Oz, do you?"
No, I don't. Who are you? You haven't told us that.
The Hyukuza. I tell you what, those mouthpieces will tell you, I done my job, I'm off for the night, okay, bye. And he walks off into the middle of the woods. But he has gestured in front to the entrance of the tent, where a pair of, hang on, let me get the art, because people will respond to this, I promise you that. Where the hell did I save it? Okay, there are a pair of barkers, ponies. They are hailing the approaching crowd from the front of the tent, and their cheerful calls ring out with warm, welcoming smiles. Roll up, come see the Charles Century! Free entry for all Hyukuza! Oh yes, my friends, yes! For years, this dastardly duck disappeared in mysterious circumstances, assumed to be dead and buried along with our beloved Chuck. 12 feet under, pishing up the daisies, when up he pops, singing like a lark. This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to see the sitting duck who chose to sing a swan song twice. That's right, the one and only Deltasong Danger performing this night only, and definitely this night only, back from the grave only to string himself a noose. This here goose is about to be cooked.
Swan song. Oh, okay. It's the same guy. It's...
You think this might be Alibi?
Yeah, I think this is Alibi.
That would explain the airplane.
Are my hands still tied?
Yep. You want to get some help with that? I mean, these two seem pretty friendly. They don't look like as grim as some of the people who are entering this tent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but also, like, I guess we could probably untie each other's hands if we reached over, like, now that, like, we're not...
Sure, I mean, if you want to do that, roll dex. Roll dex. Let's see how it goes.
Right.
I'm going to try and untie Ida, I suppose.
Right.
Pure dex.
Let me check the components for guidance, because if it's vocal and somatic.
It's somatic.
Yeah, same for me.
I'm just picturing these two having this conversation while trying to fumblingly untie each other. Like, can you do guidance? No, you do.
Wait, no, that one's somatic.
Yeah, that's not gonna work for Griff.
That's a 6.
Griff did not do a good job.
That's not. That's not.
Let me have Ida give a shot. Just a straight dex, right?
I think Nick, you probably made that worse with that.
That's 1 point more. That's a 7.
I mean, do you guys want to describe what happens with that? What?
I have one idea. Do we like somehow get our ropes tangled so now we have like
I
our
think
wrists
we tie ourselves
attached to
together.
each other?
Yes.
So now we're just like back to back with our
to
wrists
back.
attached.
Fortunately, the entertainment of your plight has caught the attention of quite a lot of people who are entering the tent, because you're right there at the entrance, and you are getting quite a lot of side eyes. There's some whispering happening and an awful lot of laughing. They seem to know much more about this than you do, and they know who you are. And one of the ponies is like, "Ah, yes, finally, come on, we can't start the act without you. Do you want me to deal with that whole situation? Actually, it would be pretty funny if you went in like that, wouldn't it, brother? Oh, yes, definitely."
Look, the last time we dealt with your organization, we left it on a pretty good note. The less said about the first time, the better. But the second time we interacted with you all, it was
has no bearing, old chap. It's a case-by-case situation, and boy, you have a case in front of you. Although, who knows, we may end up working for each other. It's free entrance for Hyukuza only. You'll have to pay a fee, unless you want to sign up right now. I have the paperwork.
We're part of the show. Surely we don't have to pay to be part of the show. That'd be ridiculous. That's not how entertainment works. That's not how the industry functions. You can't.
This all gets another roar of laughter from the people who are watching you, and yeah, these two ponies are also in tux about it. Like, oh no, you really are new around here. So there is a 5 gold fee for entering the tent, and yes, you will have to mark that off on your character sheet. You may get it back later. You may not. They're taking it from your pockets whether you want them to or not. You've got your hands tied.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does Ida have her own money, or is Griffin gonna have to pay for this?
No, she has her own money. We both got paid like during the previous trial, so she has some money.
I think we got paid in the rock we kept, though, didn't we?
We got like I checked this last night. We got 15 gold from that, and I also had like her starting gold because like with your starting equipment you get like 15 gold. So she currently has 30. Okay. Well, now it's 25, but
Interesting you mentioned
Fair
that.
enough.
So
Okay, that is also the same about Griffin has.
the unicorns have rifled through your pockets to take their due payment, and mistakenly one of the unicorns removes this strange triangular stone with a hole in it, and turns it this way and that, and thinks nothing of it, and puts it back in your pocket because it means nothing. Those who have listened to a previous game will understand that this is something. That's a secret tool which we will use later. Anyway, so they take mercy on you and finally undo your ropes because, you know, we've got a show to get on with. Alright, fine. So you do know why you're here, at least, surely?
No, you didn't tell us.
Didn't your client tell you? I mean, you got the letter, right? We did let him send one.
Okay, yes, Deltasong Danger sent us a letter requesting defense, I suppose.
They look at each other, kind of puzzled, and they're like, so this is not a surprise. The guy, he's been dead for like 5 years. Is this not extraordinary to you?
I think Ida's heard of him. I've not heard of him.
Yeah, he's kind of like a movie star or something. Ida's been kind of quiet this whole time because I think like once the ropes are gone, she's kind of been like kind of clinging to Griff a little bit.
Yeah, Griffin's actually gonna quickly cast heroism on her just because that grants immunity to magical fear, but it also does infuse with like it just might help a little.
Oh,
is his thought.
Definitely, yeah.
You're gonna need it. So that's really fine. Good. I love that flavor.
Aww.
Okay. Yeah, these two unicorns are looking at each other like, oh, like they almost look like they feel sorry for you, but it's only almost. It's really kind of like, is this too funny? Is this too funny? The fact that these two don't even know? Like, oh my god.
I think with a burst of heroism, I think Ida's like has enough courage to like get fed up with this and be like, "You guys kidnapped us. What do you expect?"
Well, we expect you to read the newspapers over the past 5 years. My word, lady, you really do need to catch up with the times. And they very quickly, feeling kind of responsible for the quality of entertainment rather than you, summarize that Deltasong Danger has been considered to be dead for 5 years, and the reason he died was that there was an incident and another person died, and that's basically who he's accused of having done in, so good luck. And he pushes you into the tent.
Ugh.
Hey, what's the horn? Ah!
Okay, so, Yep, you hear, the last thing you hear is one of these podiums say, "Behold our star attraction, your very own retired movie star headlining for us tonight. Not that he'll have a head for long. Deltasong Danger!" And spotlights blaze, there's blasts of piped music, and it vies with the cheers and jeers of a massive crowd. It's like hundreds of Hyukuza. And the spectacle is so bright and loud that you are basically blinded and deafened for a moment. The interior of the tent is a staggering display of lights, colourful cloth, woodwork, and festival fare. It is a cartoonish, nightmarish hybrid of a three-ring circus and the interior of a courtroom. There are 3 benches. There is the judge's bench, which is very, 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 very tall. There is the prosecutor's bench, which is very, very, very tall. And there is a 3rd bench, which is very small. It's kind of pathetic. And in the center ring at the moment, there is an act happening. A lion roars savagely on stage as a bungling clown in full white costume is chased by this fearsome, real-kind beast through multiple rings of fire. This clown, you realize all too quickly, is your client, who is being forced to leap through several obstacles with the wild animal in pursuit before he lands on a large ball painted with pinstripes. And the audience roars just as loudly as the lion, only with laughter, as your defendant begins rolling the ball desperately up and down on a seesaw to try and stay away from the jaws and claws of this beast.
Okay,
How do you feel?
I'm checking my spells to see what I can do to help.
Objection! You can't. Our client cannot be put into danger before a verdict has been determined. This is ridiculous.
This summons
Also,
laughs. They think this is part of the act, and it is.
Yeah, this is cruel and unusual punishment.
Yep. More laughter. I'm afraid you're gonna have to do something slightly more dramatic. I mean, directly in front of you is, on the comically tall judge's stand, sits and laughs the stately disarray of the jester. You will be unfamiliar with this character, but he is wearing a red velvet court robe trimmed with fur, and under his jester's cap is a judge's wig so extensive that its white rolling curls fall almost to the floor. And because you are legal people, rather ominously, he is already wearing the traditional black cloth that sometimes, very rarely, is put upon one's wig as a judge. So that's about where you're at right now. But yes, let's deal with the lion situation first.
Okay, I do have Rave Enfeeblement. Let me see if I can grab that spell.
My single damaging spell is Vicious Mockery, and I don't know that I want to mock the lion.
I have some damaging spells, but I don't know if Ida would want to harm an animal, like is her first thing. So
You do.
Oh wait, actually no, I might be literally unable to use Vicious Mockery on a creature that does not have an intelligence score high
Yeah,
enough.
sadly,
That's
this
right.
is a real kind lion. It would not affect it. I was just checking the stats.
it specifies have damage with weapon attacks. Would you be willing to flavor it as like, I don't know, weakening the lion so it calms down?
Yeah.
Like if this works?
Yeah. No, this would it feels suck. I think it's fairly canonical that this Rave Enfeeblement makes you feel enfeebled, so the lion would definitely respond.
Okay, so I gotta make a ranged spell attack, so
Okay.
let me do that.
Go for it. Oh,
Oh
no.
man, that's an 8.
Nope. You missed
Can I slap a guidance on that?
Yes, absolutely. You can put guidance on that.
Alright.
At
For 10,
I mean, I'm gonna let
Can I
you
slap a bardic
just-
on that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
if
bardic.
you get bardic, then it will. So like basically, you only need to.
okay, is that D8 or?
D8, yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
I'm sure. this is-
Alrighty.
Yeah. You only needed one. That's fine.
Okay,
so
good, yeah.
Suddenly the lion doesn't stop growling, but it does stop roaring, and kind of looks a little bit sort of, you know, you know when a dog gets confused, it does this sort of,
Yeah.
and just has a hesitation of its own confidence, and turns around to look at you, which gives Delta enough opportunity to basically relax for half a second. And he's like, "Oh my god, thank you for coming. I'm really sorry about this. It's a whole situation. I'm sorry. Balancing on a ball is really hard." And he's like stuttering around in the ring as this goes. Yeah, so you have managed to quell the charge of this beast. So yeah, is there anything else you would like to do?
So, you are... Okay, so you are, the guy we have defended before, right? Like, we've met...
Yeah, sorry, I know that's confusing. No, this is actually, well, apart from the whole clown thing. And, like, someone from the audience says, that's debatable. Well, okay, this is as much like me as I've looked in front of you guys. So, hi, yeah, long story short, you are doing this. Again, sorry, I need your help, please?
Okay.
The lion is starting to regain some of its interest in the roly ball thing, because cat. Oh, and feel free to roll more perception rolls, anything you want to while we're in here.
Yeah, let me do that. 16.
Yeah, gosh, sure. I mean, you see everything that I've described. This 3-ring circus, plenty of room for entertainment aside from the main exhibit. As you see to your right, that there is a small clerk-like demon with a bulbous head and an upturned nose and glasses. He is sat at the slightly shorter desk and is sorting through an impressive stack of papers. Let me get a picture of this guy for you, because this is your prosecutor. This is Prosecutor Nitpicker, everybody! I'm sure you've never seen anybody who looks like this before. I'm sure you can have a really nice, good time getting to know this guy.
I was hoping this was who I thought it was when you mentioned the bulbous head.
With a 16, you rolled very well, and you can see some Hyukuza clowns to the left who are watching, but seem to be, as it were to, if you've been to a circus before, often the clowns are used to change acts. They clear up the stage and provide entertainment between preparation. And you feel like maybe if you can, encourage them to do their bit, then you may be able to get on with your job.
Alright, do you tell Griffin about this, or...?
Of course, yeah. Yeah, nah, she's just gonna keep it all to herself, nah. It might be time to use those, couple years of, theater experience, Griff.
I thought it's exactly. Griffin is gonna just stand on the defense's desk and sort of turn to address the crowd.
Good luck, sir. I'm impressed.
Well, this has been a lovely opening act, but I am afraid it is time for the show to begin. My friends, we have a treat for you tonight, but first we need to send in the clowns, as it were, and have them take the lion away so we can get the ball rolling, as it were.
Oh, by the way, real quick, Eve is casting thaumaturgy on him to make his
folks.
voice boom.
Yeah.
Give them a hand, folks. That's...
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm not going to make you roll persuasion because that was so good. And yeah, they go ham for that. And the clowns to the side also take note of their cue. The jester even nods and seems kind of impressed. He's like, oh, okay, we can have fun with this game. All right. So yeah, the Hyukuza clowns enter from the left to squirt water from a high-powered hose, which blasts Delta off the ball and into the stands. But other benefits are that it chases the lion. They are also throwing buckets of exploding confetti at the lion and the crowd. I think this is hilarious, even though some of them are rather singed afterwards. The point of entrance of these clowns does cause them to vault and stomp over your desk, Nick. 2 of them sort of do a throwing you from one to the other while they're cavalcading over it. And, this desk is so small, it could barely be counted as a coffee table. It's, really demoralizing seeing the height of this compared to the others. Alright. This is really good. This is really good. Oh! Also, sorry, for that really good perception roll you did, it was a 16, wasn't it? Yeah, it was over 15.
That was, yeah.
So, while all this is happening, you also notice that the funfair music that you first detected is being emitted from a peculiar device. It's a strange rectangular sort of machine, which is being played by a puppet-style tune, although it's hard to say whether it's stop motion or cell animation. It's very eerie. It's like a one-eyed puppet, plays with uncanny movements, such as rubber hose mixing with the more janky motions of a marionette. And the instrument in question looks more like a machine. It's from a Frankensteinian laboratory with a pipe organ stuck in it. There's data readings coming out, and a forebodingly large set of Tesla coils at the top, stringing lightning between them. Whatever its purpose fully is, it can certainly turn out a tune. So that's just a thing to keep in the back of your brain. At the moment, it's making perfect accompaniment for the clowns on stage to sling the poor white-clad Piero back and forth between them like a game of hacky sack. Okay. So, chaos, chaos, chaos. Maybe it is time for less chaos. If you're all ready. Okay. So, the judge, having finally noted and accepted your entrance, raises his gavel to bring the riotous noise to a close. Order! Order, I said! Shut up! The crowd ceases its uproar, the silence only interrupted by the inevitable landing of Delta, who has recently been thrown out of the stands and, through a paper ring and lands headfirst in a large bucket of water, which he escapes from very rapidly, yelping because there's a piranha in there, just normal clown stuff. There's nothing sinister about it. The jester, the judge, nods graciously at the silence with a grave expression, and suddenly it's very bizarre to you guys because this guy has looked like a Warner-type toon kind the whole time, and suddenly he's a real kind, like a human, and he almost looks like a real judge. Court is in session for the much-delayed trial of Deltasong danger. The defendant stands accused of the most serious charge that can be brought before this, the High Hyukuza court. That of explorating and otherwise murderizing a boss of the Hyukuza. In this case, my own predecessor, the great late Chuck L. Muscle. Savage boos and hisses ring out from the audience in a show of real emotion, with several handkerchiefs being blown into with wails of sorrow. And a salvo of rotten tomatoes and other assorted vegetables accompany them. Please roll dexterity. Saving throw.
Alright.
I will also do this for Delta, if I can remember how you're supposed to roll.
16?
And
22.
22. That's very
nice.
Good. Sorry, can y'all help me out and tell me what I have to type in before the D20?
So it's exclamation mark ROLL, so roll, and then a space, and then D whatever
cool.
dice it is, plus whatever the modifier.
I thought it was there, but I wasn't confident.
There you go.
It's a 5.
Oh, buddy.
Alright, so you two take a bow, and all of the vegetables sail over your bent forms and hit your client, which is just perfect. The crowd are very pleased about this. In fact, that's probably the best that could have gone, because they get some catharsis, and there's less heat on you. Because this is, serious. This was the first time you heard, how serious this is. Your client is accused of killing the previous Hyukuza boss. And you do at least know who the Hyukuza are, because everybody fucking knows.
And like Griff mentioned, we have technically tangled with them a couple of times.
So now it may be starting to sink in, the amount of shit that you are in. I did not mean to rhyme, but it was.
So, hi, just to get this out of the way, I assume we're pleading not guilty. Is that correct?
Well, about that. And after this, friendly greeting, the judge snaps back to a warning style and beams down at you, interrupting any conversation that you could have had with your client before the trial starts. Oh, I can't tell you how happy I am to see you all. Welcome, welcome. Find your seats. Oh, you already have. They're on the floor. Let's crack on with it then. All this pomp and ceremony, it's so dull, but rules are rules. He turns to the purple imp to his left. Prosecutor Nitpicker, are you ready? Yes, Your Honor. The demon with the upturned nose bows very graciously. Very good! And the defense, how about you?
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Oh, excellent! And here I was thinking you weren't prepared. Then it is my great pleasure to sentence you, Deltasong Danger, to death by
Objection!
rainbow. Excuse me? He looks so offended.
Your Honor, the trial has not even begun.
You from the audience because you dared to do it.
Your Honor, the trial has not even begun. No guilt has been established thus far. You cannot proceed to sentencing without any discussion of the facts.
The demonic prosecutor bows again, but less apologetically. The
Griffin, so clearly I'm familiar with the traditional methods and rules of the Hyukuza court system, Your Honor.
The jester blinks innocently and looks at you both. Is this true?
I mean, you did kind of get dragged here with not much explanation, so it just kind of like gestures, like.
Okay, there is some from the audience as though this is completely outrageous. Order! Okay. The judge summons a pair of pince-nez out of thin air, temporarily taking on a more sympathetic Frankenali style design. Very well, in the spirit of fairness. I must inform you that it is customary in Hyukuza court to have our sentence first, verdict after. Similarly, there are a few other very simple rules which slightly differ from your more usual boring court proceedings, such as that only a boss of the Hyukuza can be the judge during a trial. Nobody within the court can be killed during the trial, so long as they are a participant, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. There's a scroll covered in writing, and it rolls off the judge's bench as he reads from it. Unfurling and bouncing along the floor, the roll of parchment continues at such length that the twin ponies have to pull open the door flap to permit it to leave the circus stand. But we don't have time for all of that. And the scroll rewinds in time, shooting back into the jester's sleeve with a pop. He grins warmly in a very patronizing way. I'm sure you'll pick it up as you go along. Really, you should have read up on all this while you were coming here. I believe it took you some time. I do hope it was uncomfortable.
Well, we were a bit tied up, Your Honor.
Yeah. The audience appreciates that, and even the jester is like, he gives you one of those little smirks, which is kind of like, all right, game on. And for this, he grants you a boon. Well, I suppose you're going to request you'll talk to your clients or something unpredictable. Fine, you get 3 minutes. And he clicks his fingers, and a large, comically overly large egg timer, like an hourglass, appears, and it turns over on his desk, and you have until this lurid green sand runs from the top to the bottom, which will take 3 minutes. So yeah, you have a very small window of time to talk to the defendant.
Mm-hmm. I will say real quick, Ida wants to cast Cure Wounds on Delta, like in case he's like sustained any injuries during that whole show.
He actually looks to be in relatively good nick, and you will recall that the judge said that one of the rules is that nobody is allowed to kill someone while you're in court.
Fair enough.
So, presumably, while they've been playing with their food, they haven't actually inflicted any particular physical violence on him, aside from setting a lion on him and a piranha. But he's a lucky guy. Yeah. He's got away with it, so you don't need to waste that spell, don't worry.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Delta manages to stagger his way over to you and is like, okay, so what do you know? Do you know anything?
Well, only the little bit that we've been told so far, that you supposedly killed their boss. I mean, I'm guessing you didn't actually,
Yeah, here's the thing about that, I don't really know. I think I didn't. And the whole thing about being dead, so I was assumed to be dead for like 4 years. Happy anniversary. Doesn't the time fly? But yeah, the reason I did that was because of this, and I didn't want anybody else to, get into trouble because I was in trouble, but also I didn't want me to get into trouble, which is what this is.
Okay, so you say you don't remember if you killed Mr. Chuck L. Muscle. I believe was the name we were told.
Yeah.
Can you tell us whatever you do remember?
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, I've been told that I'm gonna have to do that on the stand. Is that what it's called? Yeah. So you're gonna hear all about that. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Hopefully it'll be fine. The whole thing is, like, I was kind of unconscious at the time. I think it wasn't my fault, but I don't know it wasn't my fault. But I think it was. And the whole thing is, like, I had a whole crisis of faith, and now I'm, like, kind of getting back on that. So I have to believe in you guys, and you have to believe in me. I know it's really hard because of the last time, but, like, do you think? And he's, like, doing the prayer hands, like, please, you need to believe in me.
I will say, once Eda hears the part about, like, him, like, being unconscious during the murder, she has, like, a very understanding look, because, that has happened to her at least once. Specifically in the case where she got knocked unconscious during spirit channeling, and she was thought to have, channeled the murderer, but turns out that didn't happen, she just got knocked out, so... Yeah, she's definitely knows where he's coming from, like...
Like, trust me, I did not reappear in public for a long time, because I knew this was gonna happen, but then... Well...
And the scenes of the carnival pause. The visuals and sounds of the tent and the clowns blur and rewind, screeching to a halt as they are transformed into scenes of the prior events of this day in the morning, as the sun serenely rises over a peaceful Toontown, where a conversation has just happened between this goose and Road is Anne, who persuaded him that it would be a good idea to re-enter into the world. And he's been, like, cracking for a long time. Like, he's been desperately lonely and trying to pretend that everything is fine if he's just dead and buried and nobody's gonna miss him, and it's like, this is making everybody's life better. But he just literally snaps. And, yeah, so the colours are muted and sleepy, only to be jolted into brilliant technicolor by a clamour and a hammer of who's, hellos, and yahoos. Toons and Realkind sleepily open their windows in Toontown to stare, boggle-eyed, witnessing a familiarly colourful blur of blonde, green, and white tearing along the street, on horseback, while his message is related via a hammer space-summoned loudspeaker. Good morning, Toontown! Rise and shine! You thought you got rid of me? Well, tough luck! The luckiest pest in town is back, and let it be known that rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. We cut to a bank. Hello! I'd like to make a deposit! Coins are so wretchedly heavy. And a bag of gold, like, comical scale is dumped onto a weighing scale, leaving the bank teller gaping as this famously dead goose raises his flamboyant hat with a bow before rapidly smear framing out of the door. We cut to Vudlik's laboratory, where the professor, caught up in most unexpected embrace, drops a vial of some doubtlessly volatile chemical, only for it to bounce several times and miraculously land the right side up without spilling. He receives several kisses to the cheek. Sorry, Prof. Uncle's right. Not actually dead. Gonna be hung for it now, but I thought you ought to know. Bye! The poor professor is left without opportunity to reply as he spins to a stop, with the only sound being the retreating hooves as an explanation. This scenario is repeated all over town. Dodo Studios, a radio station, a small confused cat sitting fishing by a river. Hello, I'm alive. Hi there, cherry bye. Stay tuned. Wish me luck. I am going to need it. And finally, both horse and goose, now fairly out of breath, including me, we arrive at the exterior of a quaint little farm on the outskirts of Toontown. It is the very picture of home, with its welcoming red barn, aromatic herb garden, and the sound of someone cooking in the kitchen. Strains of children playing, 3 voices in all, can be heard from around the back of the house, before the grinning profile of Deltasong Danger makes 2 knock on the door, but before he can be reintroduced to his family, it judders, eyes turning to stars under the impact of an inevitable frying pan. Well, it might have been flying, actually, probably thrown him out of it, you know. And we cut back to the now somehow rather bleak festival with its whirling lights and sticky sweet atmosphere under the stars. Yeah, I kind of made an entrance.
Okay. Okay.
So
I mean,
like,
that means at least...
This is definitely within what you can deal with, right? I mean, you're lawyers. You got me up last time. You're fine with this, right?
Well... You're right. You're right. What I have been taught and what we need to do is first and foremost to believe in our client, and that is for the time being you. So, yeah, we're going to prove that you're innocent, and then we're gonna go home.
He actually looks very emotional. He has needed somebody to say that because he hasn't been saying it to himself for 4 years. Like, the reason he disappeared was there was no possible way that anybody would believe his side of the story. And you haven't even heard it, and you believe in him. And that kind of, like, there's a little spark back in his eye, this little glimmer of hope.
So how are you guys?
I did.
Good? How you been?
Yeah.
I mean, at least I remember how the law works for this one. It's not the worst starting
Full amnesia, so we've been worse scrapped before, so.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys have, like, seen some shit, huh?
Okay. Just, so, how much do you... Delta, how much do you know about how the Hyukuza work as an organization? Do you know, this is all new to me, and I'm trying to figure out what the rules here are, because I feel like those could be important.
Do I look like a lawyer?
No, but you look like someone who might know more about the Hyukuza than I do.
His face, like, goes from a slightly smug smile to he just shakes his head.
Okay, that's fair.
It'll be fine.
Okay.
Everything is always fine around me. And you're putting your neck out for me. I'm gonna put everything I have on the line for you. So I'm hoping my luck holds out for all of us. Did I mention I'm really, really lucky? Like, incredibly, stupidly, annoyingly lucky. Like, I kind of love it, but other people don't.
I'll explain that whole thing with the casino back in Hauntony.
Yeah, see, she gets it.
The jester, suddenly bored of his newspaper, throws it aside and bangs his gavel with a squeak.
Well, I think that's plenty of chit-chat. It's high time that the trial began. Court is in session.
And we're gonna take 5 minutes, because I need to chug some water after that monologuing. I'm sorry, you'll get to talk more now.
Alright.
Okay. 5-minute break! Ugh, I'm gonna eat a chocolate bar. My god, the energy. I need it.
I'm back.
Hello. My brain. My brain is in too many places at once. Sorry.
All good.
I just realized I needed to crop an image before, and I didn't, so I'm gonna just do that real good. How are you guys? Are you okay? Am I confusing the hell out of you so far?
No, I'm having fun so far. Real quick, did you see my message in the GC?
Could you say that out loud, because I am currently editing a picture, which I should have done before. Sorry. just
That's all good.
No matter what it is.
Okay, yes, I wasn't sure if it. Yeah. So, because Ida has sending, I put it on her list specifically for this game. Would you allow? Would it be okay if she tries to send a message to her cousin Opal, back in the Curian village, just saying we've been kidnapped? I don't want to break the game or anything too early, or.
I mean, you can. The question is, what would you want to happen about that? Because you don't know your location particularly. Although, you know what? Nah. Yeah, do it. I feel like that can tie in with something that might happen. Yeah, do it. Yeah. Definitely. Fine. Absolutely fine. Makes perfect sense.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, when she has a free moment, she's gonna like very quickly and like as stealthy as she can cast sending.
Yeah, that's fine.
The gist of the message is actually, did Delta did anyone mention if they might be somewhere near Toontown? Because I know Delta had that whole flashback, so I don't know if like
no information as to where you are. That was a flashback.
So we don't know where we are.
You don't know where this location is at all.
Okay.
But yeah, absolutely, you can do sending, and as you're doing this spell, you also have this revelation, because you may recall in the other courtroom that you were in Huntony, you couldn't use magic inside the courtroom until certain things happened, and you can here. There's no magic bubble preventing you from casting spells.
Right.
So,
yes.
The thing about Griffin is that... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So now I was just gonna say, like, the gist of the message she sends to Opal is like, me and Griff got kidnapped by Hyukuza, don't know where we are.
Do you have any mention of anybody else that's involved in that whole situation?
Oh yeah. And no, she mentioned that, like, they're defending, Deltasong danger, probably, like, say, get help at the end or something.
Excellent. Okay, I am delighted that you did that. Thank you very much. I'm not going to say why.
So little Opal now knows what the situation is. We'll probably discuss like what comes of this late, like after the game or something. So,
Yep. Yeah. Fine. Anyway, sorry, Sam. Did you have something?
Well, I was just gonna say, Griffin does not drive or have a car, despite living in Los Angeles, which is ridiculous. So I think he might be pretty familiar with what train lines there are around there.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, God, what kind of role would that be? Would that be history? Would that be nature?
Survival, maybe?
Intelligence, survival? I'm like...
Maybe it could be one of the other ones that isn't survival.
Fair enough.
I'll be voting for survival. So, okay, roll. You're gonna have to get something ridiculously high for this to help you.
Can it be history? Because I have +3 to history.
Okay. Just my up. Because I love you, you can roll history.
Thank you. It's just that he does not have a good wisdom.
It's okay, nobody does.
No, yeah, he's got nothing.
I mean, let's be fair, you were handbound with your head in a sack, and not ideal for like trying to figure out where the hell you were going in what direction.
We were unconscious for a bit.
You have no idea where you stopped.
That's entirely fair.
You had no easy way of telling how long you were on that train. Like, you didn't have a watch that you could see or anything. So a 9 is completely understandable. Like, the most you can figure out is it was a train that had a cargo hold that you were in. That's it. That's all you can deduce. Like, even the engineer would be hard pushed to figure that one out. It's like, don't beat yourself up about it.
No, that is entirely fair. I thought I'd try, you know.
Okay. Right. Okay, where are we? Okay. So, the jester has just declared that court is in session.
Alright, now, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, but you didn't know, the sentence which comes first in here.
Do you understand? Yeah? Looking at you. Like, trying to teach these naughty school children how the system works. Like, do you understand? Like, do you understand? Like, I need a response.
Sorry, I thought that was rhetorical.
No,
Yes,
he's like asking you.
I mean, okay, quick question. The sentence isn't carried out if he's found not guilty, right? Is that...
In the highly unlikely
situation that transpires. Yes, no, we don't do it.
There's no fun, you know? You've got to know what the stakes are before you play poker.
Okay, yeah.
Alright, now, as I was saying, death by rainbow. The penitent shall hereby be taken from this place, hung by the neck until purple, whereupon he shall be removed, and then locked in a fridge until he turns blue, removed again,
tied to the spokes of a wagon wheel, spun around until he's turned green, etc., 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 until he is reduced to a sticky red puddle. And the crowd goes wild. They're just like, oh my god, that's so cool, our bus is the coolest, yeah! It's like, oh, they are baying for blood, like, quite literally. How does that mean? It's like, Delta just looks sick. He's just like, okay.
Yeah. I think we're already, I think all three of us are probably starting to turn a little green, or at the very least pale.
No, we have to do purple first, not green, Oh, fine, let's get on with it. Call the first witness.
And, yeah, as there are calls for, call the first witness, call the first witness. Delta is seized, the accused is seized and strapped to a large wheel decorated with coloured segments. If you have ever seen a knife throwing act, you probably know where this is going. Yeah. And it begins to spin. As Delta is put into this completely normal situation for the defendant of the case, he also seems to quail at the sight of the first witness, and you can understand why. This large... it's like a head taller than you. It's this big hulking animatronic, and it looks like it's like kind of half destroyed, but it's like hanging in there, and that makes it worse. Yeah. And this is like one of the bailiffs who's been standing silently in the shadows to the left of the jester's desk the entire time, and he walks with mismatched steps to take the stand. So yeah. You wanna discuss that, or shall we just get to the witness?
Alright. Okay, do you know who the... Oh, Alwyn's not with us anymore. I can't ask them.
We can't whisper to him anymore.
I mean, you can talk to each other at any point.
Okay.
Delta is a little bit inconvenienced. He is spinning. Like, that's just happening.
Well, actually... Wait, sorry, I've got a spell. I'm gonna message to Alibi and say, hey, do you know... Sorry, Delta, do you know who this is?
Yeah, that's, sorry, Knocks him dead. He's a guy. He was there at the night that it happened.
Okay, I mean, that could be good. Okay, this is... Dachshund dead, I think.
Unfortunately, the judge re-announces in a slightly less dizzied fashion, out loud, Noxem dead. That's Noxemdedd. Can you spell that? Can you write that down? Are you literate? I'm just checking, you know. I know you're a little bit behind our accelerated system here, but, you know, I want to be fair.
Oh, they don't call me Mr. Like, Griffin starts to make a joke about how they don't call him Mr. Right for nothing, and then he realizes, wait, shit, that's not my name.
That's a shame. Well, I don't want you to feel left out. Anyway, as Noxem dead, as acting head of security on the night of this terrible, tragic incident, it falls to you to summarize the facts of this case. You shall do so without hesitation, repetition, invention, or deviation. Do you understand? The fox nods in its juddering fashion, and as it takes a stand, it also draws a set of knives from its belt. With each statement, another knife is thrown, and yes, embedding itself always too closely to your client for comfort, made worse by the fact that it is only ever looking directly at you two and not the target. So, first witness testimony, the tragic death of the great Chuck L. Muscle, former boss of the Hyukuza. At 10 p.m. of the night of the crime, the defendant arrived and entered the Hyukuza HQ tower. Thud. Another knife. I was stationed at the door to Chuck's room the whole time. Nobody but he and the goose entered, and I saw nobody leave it afterwards. After entering...
hold it.
Yarr, what say ye?
Were there any other entrances or windows to the building, in the building?
The judge rolls a hand, allowing the witness to explain, And the prosecutor does not interrupt. He's just very patiently listening. He's incredibly bored, stuffy-looking expression.
I do not think so, no. The boss did have windows, but they was always shut. Always shut. Hey. It's a risky business being
What about-
a Hyukuza boss, you know.
This gets a laugh because he died. You know, the audience is like sad about it, but yeah. It happened.
What about vents, like a ventilation system? Anything anyone could crawl through?
No. And like, again, this noise travels around. The audience here don't seem to be particularly restrained in terms of joining in with the witness testimony, and they certainly aren't being held back by the judge. So there seems to be a general consensus that the door was the only entrance.
After entering the private quarters of the victim, sounds of a conversation and then fighting were heard by myself, who was stationed by the door the entire time.
Oh, was that a bit close? Never mind. I'm just pausing in case you want to press on any of these.
Back to a previous point. When did your shift begin and when did it end? Could someone have gotten there before you got there and hid after the crime until you left?
That'd be unlikely. I arrived with Chuck at 3 p.m. He was very busy that day. I just stayed by the door the entire time.
I don't know what my voice is doing for this accent. I'm so sorry. It's been a week.
It's alright.
Why is he a country bumpkin or a pirate? I can't decide. Shit. Anyway. So yeah, his shift basically was always guarding Chuck. He was with Chuck all the time, and he followed Chuck up the stairs, but stayed outside of his private office because that was his private office.
And were you able to make out any of the conversation? Could you hear what they were saying?
No, I was not permitted to listen into conversations. I've fitting to garble that sort of information.
And he taps his robotic ears, and the jester flaps a hand and modestly says, "Oh yes, I installed that one myself. Nice little adaptation, I thought."
Anyway, after he started fighting, there was a explosion, which that was the cause. I'm sure of it. That's how he died.
There's a wave of emotion about this.
I was gonna say, hold it. So you say that was the way he died. Was there an autopsy report done for him after he died? Confirm this?
That is such a good question.
This inspires a bit of giggling and then a lot of sniggering, and then everybody just starts laughing. Just starts laughing at you, including the judge. And the only person who does not laugh is the prosecutor. So prosecutor nitpickers.
The defense clearly, completely out of the loop with the result of this said explosion. Depends, what is your name?
He talking to Ida?
To either of you. He's looking for whoever's in charge of this mockery of a defense.
We have Griffin left and Ida Sylph from Left & Co. Law Offices.
Yeah, very good.
Well, thank you.
Mr. Left & Co. So are you familiar with what happens when a bomb explodes?
I can't say that I am personally, thankfully.
Well, that does explain it, although your lack of imagination is extremely disappointing. If I were to put a piece of paper in a fire, you might find a similar result in terms of the corpse of the demised.
So what you're saying is the body of Chuck L. Muscle was never found.
It was rendered.
How do you know for sure he's dead?
It was rendered to ashes, which shall be expanded upon by your very own child.
And he looks at Delta, who is increasingly dizzy, but, you know, he kind of manages to nod in your direction like he ain't lying.
Well, hold it. If it was reduced to ashes, then how... And were you even able to confirm that was his body?
The jester actually takes over for a moment, because order, because everyone is trying to tell you at the same time, like from the witness to the audience to the prosecutor. It's like, order, okay, fine, this is such a headache. Who would have thought that being a judge could be actually so difficult? My god. Alright, just several questions! My goodness, no wonder you became lawyers. I bet you were popular at school. Anyway.
I was not.
Noxum, would you like to demonstrate what happened to you during this explosion, considering you were also behind a door?
And Noxum just walks out from behind the stand so you can admire his completely eviscerated form. He opens his coat, and there's even more blast damage than you had previously thought. These holes and the torn fur from his animatronics was the result of this explosion, and he was behind cover.
Oof.
Hold it. Your Honor, I find that very interesting. That someone who was behind cover was harmed more than someone who was, as far as we know, at the epicenter of the blast. I say, gesturing at Delta.
Are you calling me a liar?
And you find a hook underneath your chin very quickly, which is alarming because he has not left where he was standing. The arm extends.
I wasn't intending to call your testimony into doubt at this current moment in time. I was just saying that the effects of the explosion, I don't feel, have been confirmed yet by your testimony.
Unfortunately,
and the location of the explosion is also suspect to me.
Noxum just, like, keeps the hook there until the jester flaps a hand and then rewinds it very slowly, and then it goes forwards again, and then it goes back really slowly. It's just
You're
like,
not allowed to kill me. The trial's in session.
Maybe beyond the
kind of a
cards.
shithead.
Nobody said anything about not having a bit of fun poking holes here.
And there's some call for, like, yeah, go on, do it, poke him, like, he's trying to poke holes in your testimony, why don't you do it to him? Yeah. Like, lots of heckling in this place. The jester just sort of waves a hand, and amazingly, even without banging his gavel, he commands total silence. It's really kind of impressive because this is just a total menagerie, but they definitely listen to what the jester says at any point. I'd actually like at this point for you to roll what's it called? The thing with the telling how people think brain are. Oh my god! Why is my brain?
You cut out a little. You cut out a little. What do you want us to roll?
Insight. My brain just totally
There we
cut
go.
the word for insight. It's a critical moment. I'm so sorry. It just feels opportune.
22.
Yeah, 22. Ooh, 24.
Okay.
Yeah, you are on
Ooh.
it. Okay, so for every mention of Chuck, this previous Hyukuza boss, everyone has, like, you know, had a sort of affectionate smile, and, you know, they have cracked jokes about the fact that he died, but they have also cried and you know, been very angry about the fact that this guy died. Like, he is clearly missed and, you know, talked about with respect and...
That is what happened to him when he exploded.
You know, like, they are sad about it. Like, they really miss this guy. The jester receives no such warmth, but he absolutely commands their respect, and you are increasingly aware that even though the jester has been the kindest person to you in some ways, they are the most afraid of him out of anyone in this room. They are more afraid of the jester than Noxum, and Noxum visually is much more frightening.
Duly noted.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
if there's anyone in the entire room who seems impassive as to the jester, it's the prosecutor who just keeps this totally deadpan face the entire time. You have no idea what that imp is thinking.
Your Honor, the defense are clearly trying to buy time to protect their very paltry attempt at claiming that this was not a murder.
The jester nods and considers this. Do you have any objections to this?
Nah.
Objection. I'm sorry, I don't. Go ahead.
She was gonna object. Objection! No, we're not. We're just trying to get all the facts so we know exactly what happened. We want to see this case from every angle. Isn't that what the defense is supposed to do?
There is a sort of from around the room, and you know, like you actually hear one of the ponies saying, "Yeah, I'd like to know what happened too."
Additionally, I don't really know what benefit you think buying time would have for us. It's not like there's.
I do think that you might actually be trying a little too hard to cover up that angle, you know?
And the jester looks directly at you, Peter.
We're trying to cover up what angle again?
Oh, you know, sending a little help message to, let me guess, some sort of relative, was it?
Yeah, Ida turns, like, so pale.
He has the worst smile on his face. It's just so frightening, you know, like, it's like, he just absolutely saw straight through you, and he knows what you did. And he doesn't care. That's probably the most frightening thing. Like, he hasn't acted as though this is a problem.
She just, like, very quietly says, is it too late to plead the fifth?
He laughs about this, yeah. He laughs that.
Oh, you're such a card. Anyway, Noxum, just finish your testimony. Let's get to the fun part.
And he looks at Delta, who is still spinning. He's like, oh.
At the time, we assumed the explosion had also killed the ghost, hence the delay in apprehending the swab for this trial.
And the knife thuds home.
As the defense are clearly lost for words, which is completely understandable. Let me say that while this witness testimony is quite damning, there is nothing more damning than the words of the perpetrator himself. If I may persuade you to call him to the stand, dear judge.
Well, absolutely, yes. Yes, we want to hear what he's got to say, don't we, chaps? Yes! And this absolute roar. And, yeah, so unless you want something else to happen, that's going to happen next. Cross-examination? What's that?
I'm trying to think, because we might have gotten all the information we can get out of, that we can't get from Delta, like, you know, from his perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. We're good to move on?
I believe so.
Nothing else you want to do. Alright, fine. I just want to check, because, you know, I don't want to be too road railing.
Of course, yeah.
Okay. As Noxum takes his leave, stop. Delta's wheel is finally allowed to stop spinning, and the knives are many. None of them actually went in, but my god, that one next to his neck is very close. Yeah, while the wheel is finally stopped spinning, the spirals in his eyes, it's clear the goose's head has not. And the judge, as he's being steadily shown over to the stand, well, it's as clear can be. You see, unlike you savages here in the Hyukuza, we actually take our courts seriously and tell the truth, don't we, boys and girls? And non-gender descriptive, you know, you lot. And the crowd cheers proudly, though you notice one of the twin unicorns elbows the other to comment, of course,
helps that we're repeatedly casting zone of truth on the witness stand. Too true, dear brother of mine, too true.
Gotcha.
Can I make an Arcana check?
Yeah, sure.
Just to, like, confirm that.
Please do.
Okay.
I will say that they were sort of talking to, like, between themselves, but yeah, a 16.
Okay.
They were definitely doing that. There's no implication that they weren't telling the truth. And, you know, just from that very good insight roll, it felt uncomfortably true that whole time when Noxon was talking. Like, you didn't detect him lying at any point. Like, your gut instinct was just like, yeah, I think he's saying what happened, although it's unfortunate. That's what happened. Okay. So, the jester bangs his gavel. I should be using sound effects. Bangs his gavel. Bang, bang, bang. Is it making the noise? I can't hear it, so I'm just like...
And I can hear it.
Okay, good. That's annoying enough. Alright. And taps his lips with a finger towards these unicorns, compelling them to salute in a panic and resume silent watch. He winks and laughs hardly.
Oh, yes, well, cat's out of the bag now, but yes, as you've heard, even if our vile villain wants to string us the same lies that have kept him in his skin until today.
More booze and tomatoes hail from the crowd booths.
The simple fact is that he can't. Speaking of which, Deltasong danger, I hereby call you to the stand. Oh, and could you sign, like, these glossies before you die? I mean, they're going to skyrocket in value.
And yet Delta's handed some of his old movie posters, and he's just, like, signing them in a sort of despair, like, yeah, sure, alright, I guess. Okay, Deltasong dizzily takes the stand, and he is already sweating buckets. Okay, gosh, it all happened so long ago. I think my memory might be a little fuzzy. I had been invited to Chuck's Tower after winning a lot of money at one of his casinos. And there's murmuring from the crowd at this, like, well, what? How? The casinos are bent as hell. How did he win anything? Yeah, I arrived at the tower at 10 p.m. as instructed. I was invited. And I was shown up the stairwell by Mr. Dead. There, I was shown up to Chuck's room on the top floor. Me and Chuck talked, and then I left. And this statement causes quite a stir of interest from around the circus tent. And yes, that's Delta's witness testimony. And you know, the prosecutor rubs his glasses in a sort of
in light of the erroneous quality of this witness, I would actually permit the usual cross-examination from the defense. Please, Your Honor. Very well, I suppose. Go on then. Cross-examine.
cross-stitch for all I can. And he's got some embroidery out to do while he's listening. So at this point, I'm gonna like start copying and pasting parts of this statement down so that you can press on whichever parts you find interesting. Okay?
Perfect, thanks.
Okay.
That's great, thank you.
It all happened so long ago, I think my memory might be a little fuzzy. If you want to press,
I think we can move on from that.
Okay.
Not much there.
I had been invited to Chuck's Tower after winning a lot of money from one of his casinos.
Hold it. Now, when you say invited,
like, really? Like, yeah, he invited me. Why? Why'd he invite me? Well, he said it was because I'd been so lucky. He seemed really impressed with it and was very friendly. Really, a really funny guy, actually. He looks slightly wistful, and the members of the jury look nostalgic and nod in agreement. But the jester glowers them into silence. All the more of a sin to destroy such an amusing, amicable man after he invited you to his own home. Jury, take note of this client's vicious treachery. The jury's softened expressions immediately harden, angry grumbling.
I would ask that the members of the jury take notice of of our witness's lack of a motive. If Mr. Muscle was not interested in recouping the losses of the casino or punishing any perceived cheating, I don't see it.
We will approach the matter of the client's motive when my brain remembers what the words are. Sorry.
Doing a voice and answering is so fucking hard.
We will approach the matter of the motive soon enough.
Very well.
It is not related to his unearned victory at the casino.
Well, gosh, okay, fine. Having said that, I arrived at the tower at 10 p.m. as instructed, and I was shown up the stairwell by the fox. Yep.
Out of character, just to confirm, did Noxum also say he arrived at 10?
He did, yeah.
Okay,
Yep,
yeah.
That's the time. It is confirmed. They are both telling the truth. The jury is nodding. Yes,
Right.
yes. All holds together, holds water.
Just want to double check.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. I was shown up to Chuck's room on the top floor. Me and Chuck talked, and then I left. He's like sweating.
On the one hand, he hates to do this to them. On the other, we need information.
Yeah, we need to know.
In fact, there's a pause as Delta has to duck several vegetables and an exploding rubber chicken. The audience and indeed the jury seem to have taken this last statement rather badly.
What exactly do you mean by left? By what manner did you leave without passing our previous witness?
I can't remember.
And at this point, the prosecution said,
Excuse me. I believe you may have omitted certain details from your testimony. Okay, maybe I omitted a little bit, but it's not like that isn't true. We had a conversation, and an undisclosed amount of time afterwards I left.
somehow. I can't really... And this statement causes a huge stir of interest. The jester looks vindictively grave whilst lighting a string of firecrackers and drops them at the defendant's feet, causing him to conduct a wild dance to avoid these miniature exploding sticks of dynamite. Please add this omission to your statement, defendant, on the double. How are you two doing, by the way? Do you want a glass of water?
In character, out of character.
No, he's asking you if you want a glass of water, like the characters.
Okay. We're good, thanks.
Yeah, I think we're all right.
Alright. And he drops a glass of water off the desk, which goes... explodes. Anyway, when it hits the ground. Resuming Delta's very not full of holes piece of testimony. Alright, well, we did talk for a bit, and he offered me a job, but I turned it down. Any pressing?
What?
We good?
No, I am going to
impressed.
us.
Yeah?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I can do it. Hold it. What sort of job was he off?
Gosh, I don't really know. Chuck said he could use my kind of luck, but I didn't want to join the Hyukuza.
And the crowd seems thoroughly displeased. For some reason, it's not as though they're highly biased against someone who wouldn't want to join their elite program. And the jester just rolls his eyes. Let me guess, you're too goody-goody. Couldn't affiliate with such nasty folks as us. Delta, for the first time, manages to laugh and flap his hand. What? No way.
It was the idea of taking a job. That means work. I've never worked a day in my life.
He seems bizarrely proud of this.
Oh, wait, sorry, Okay, yeah, you're... Why did you need to go to a casino if you... never mind.
Casinos are fun, absolutely. Also, Ida, do you think there's something strange going on here? Because your little history check reminded you that you've seen this guy in movies. And he's just said he'd never worked a day in his life. Isn't that a bit strange?
Ooh, perfect. Would that be a hold it or an objection?
It's an objection.
Okay, in that case, objection! Mr. Danger, you say you've never worked a day in your life, but I know that you were definitely a movie star. Doesn't that count as work?
What? You mean he's lying? And, the crowd are just like, ooh, because, like, their fans said that they're unclean. It's like, oh, no, he's a naughty boy. He's definitely gotta go down. And, yeah, Delta's just like, yeah, but that was, like, just, that was the engineer. It didn't really count. Oh, the mention of the engineer and Delta's apparent receipt raises cries of dismay and outrage from the audience, and the jester seems delighted. Just like, you mean he's lying, despite the zone of truth spell? Jury, note this blatant flaunting of the rules and magic. Why, I'm always impressed. I'm not lying. It's how I think of the time I spent at Dodo Studios. See, I didn't think of it as a job or work. It was a game, an educational game. It was fun. And again, the zone of truth is working, so that is his explanation. That is his explanation. And the jester seems disappointed and waves the matter onwards. Alas, what a nice little contradiction that led to nothing.
Yeah.
Hold it. Mr. Danger, the previous witness, Mr. Dead, suggested that there was an argument between you and the victim. What was the argument about, if you were just talking about a job opportunity?
Well, that's related. You see, after I turned him down, Chuck was pretty mad at me. So, he was kind of threatening. Like, he was making jokes, but now he was scary about it. He was amazed at how much money I had cost him in one night, and I was getting nervous, so I have to pay him back. It's not like it meant much to me. I often won that amount or more. But he seemed kind of insulted, so then he got more mad, and he said he didn't want me to pay him back in gold. He wanted his pound of flesh.
He threatened you.
Yes. If I may interject, you were looking for a motive, I believe.
And the audience are going, again, there's a lot of popcorn being eaten. Oh, now we're getting there. So, yeah, the prosecution is arguing that the motive your client had was self-defense.
Now, I assume that the prosecution will argue that you were capable of this because despite the lack of premeditation on your part, you are, I believe, a spellcaster of some description. Were you capable at that time of casting a spell of the sufficient strength to create, say, a fireball? Or...
Do I have to answer that question? Yes, you do.
And you can tell, like, you've asked him a really sticky question and he's like trying to answer around the edges of it, and he starts several times and he can't continue, and this is making everything worse. He's like, how about I just like get there when we get there? There's like more to it than that.
Right.
Alright, my apologies.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, so the thing is, like, my guess is that he must have set something off. Because suddenly he starts bouncing all around the room trying to smash into me. It was like being trapped in a bouncy castle with a cannonball, and that's not as fun as it sounds, I promise you.
In other words, he tried to attack Delta first, basically.
If I might interject, you probably wondered before, though you didn't mention it, why I did not intervene when I heard the sounds of an argument, nay, a fight, as I mentioned.
I was gonna say, Nox mentioned an argument, but he didn't mention, like, the sounds of a fight beforehand.
One was the same with the other, with the Chuck.
The Hyukuza around you nod as if this is just, completely understood. Of course, an argument in the Hyukuza is a fight, basically, and often it's fatal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you see, the Hyukuza boss don't like being disturbed when he's, in consultation, persuading people, you understand?
It was certainly persuasive. He just rolled himself up and started going crazy. He was bouncing off of everything at such a speed of it.
If he hit me, you weren't hurt. Like me, I never get hurt.
Character, I want to ask, before I ask this in character, theory form it is that, if there was something, flammable, or something that could have exploded, if it was struck in the office, then theoretically, Chuck could have, triggered the explosion himself if he ran into something, but we don't really have, a map of, location where the murder took place.
Would you like to
So I'm thinking in character I might have Ida, ask for a map. Is that cool with you, Sam?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of laughter, and this really weird looking claymation monster type thing gurgles along the floor and offers you a file, and you see on the outside it says court record. You finally got a court record. You open it. There's nothing in it. There's nothing in it except there is a picture, and this is a picture of the deceased. This is a picture of Chuck L. Muscle. That's all you're getting, though.
There we go. Okay, yeah. I think Ida, very, very quietly whispers to Griff, now I know his name, and I have a picture of his face. And he, gives him a knowing look, as they both know, what that means.
Yeah, Griffin, exactly, Griffin is see. Yeah, you could, I'm not sure this guy's dead.
That'd be one way to prove it. Technically, if I can't channel him, then...
Okay, so... What I'm thinking is, if we can use that to prove this guy is not dead, I don't know how succession works in the Hyukuza, but that might mean that the Jester is not a boss and therefore cannot preside over this trial. I'm just trying to think of ways out of this, but...
Maybe let's save this for our ace if we get into a really bad spot. For now, maybe let's...
Excuse me, are the defense going to share what they are talking about, or are we going to be stuck here all night? It is past midnight.
The defense requests a description of the room that the murder took place in, seeing as how there's not a picture of it in the court record.
Well, that's very simple, isn't it, Delta? You were the last one in there. What do you remember of it?
Delta's just it was round. And everyone laughs. It was round. It was a tower. The room was round.
Like I said, it's been a long time, alright? The last thing I saw before the explosion was him soaring through the air towards me. Then everything gets muddled. He leapt up high and swung at me? I think he swung off something, I'm not sure. But yeah, that... I was paying more attention to the monkey than the room.
Soaring through the air towards me, I think it's muddled.
It said that he might have been swinging from something, right, Mod?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can we ask Noxum Dead, like, for testimony to, like, confirm, like, what the room looked like? Because, like, if Noxum, like, could theoretically, like, I mean, we don't know if Noxum has, like, seen inside the office before or not.
Yeah,
like, having,
sure.
because there was another witness to, like, confirm that.
Yeah. To
Okay.
fast forward, Noxum confirms that the room was indeed round, but he's not willing to give you more details.
Yar, I was not really permitted to enter the boss's office all that often, and if you were, it was usually for a different reason.
And he looks at Delta. Okay, shall I move on?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see anything to get at there.
Chest of waves.
Well,
Hey.
that's the last thing I remember. I remember coming around, lying face down on the floor, my head hurt, and I had blood on my hand.
There is a lot of noise happening right now. Like,
Order! Order, order, order! Yes, I know, so very gruesome and exciting. Order!
I think I might see a contradiction here. I just want to confirm with Sam before we, like, object in character. Yeah, he has blood on his hands, but the body was reduced to ashes, right?
Yeah, that is weird. That
Yeah.
there shouldn't be a wound of that nature.
Exactly.
Like, if there
You wanna-
was blood, it would be all over him, not just.
yep. In fact,
Exactly, like, just on
the
his
whole
hands.
point with the court record being empty is so that you can add things to the court record. So anything I say, anything that's brought up, you can write down and have in there if you want. So that's a piece of evidence. You can use the fact that he had
So
blood on his
bloodied
hand.
hands.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
You want to raise an objection about that? Because I think that'd be objection worthy, right?
I mean,
There's a
it might,
contradiction.
your
Yeah, for
objection
sure.
might go neater after he says, "Ah, I wish I could forget seeing that silhouette fall to pieces in front of me."
Ah, okay.
Due to the defense's lack of inclination to press such a point, I would ask the witness to elaborate. Alright, fine. I saw Chuck, or at least what was left of him. He was charred totally black, not even the eyes left. You know, like the gag sort of burned up, but it wasn't a gag, and there must have been a breeze from the busted walls or something, because the next second, just crumbled away into ash.
There is a hushed gasp of awe and dismay from the crowd, and one of the ponies looks like he's really actually about to cry, like this is the guy. The jester looks as serious as he ever has, but there is the eternal glitter of deep, malicious delight in his eyes.
Can we request that last statement be added to the testimony?
Oh, goody!
I was about to do that myself. Yes, if the defendant would kindly add this detail to his gruesome account of events. Delta looks at you like, I hope you know what you're doing.
I think Ida kind of gives him, like, a determined look, like, don't worry, we got something.
Okay, I saw the burned silhouette of Chuck collapse into a pile of ash. Okay.
Do you want to object, or do you want me to? Ida?
I was gonna say you go for it is your thing. Do you need to hit the button, or?
I can hit the button, I suppose. I don't hear it.
Go.
Hit the button. Hit the
Objection.
What? Like, I really did. I did. I'm telling the truth. I wish I wasn't, but I am.
Witness, that's not the problem here. The problem here is if the victim, Mr. Chuckle Muscle, was reduced to ash, there should not have been any wound from which blood would appear on your hand. That doesn't make sense. How did blood get on your hand?
There's this sort of, what? Oh, yeah. From the audience, like, oh shit. ha! And for a moment, you feel just a glimmer of hope when...
It is tragic to note that the defense are clutching at straws. Accused, can you restate that particular statement that you just said regarding the blood on your hands?
Okay, I remember coming around, lying face down on the floor, my head hurt.
Precisely. The explosion did not kill Mr. Deltasong outright, doubtless due to the fact of his magical and lucky abilities. But there was some fallout, as you can see from the state of our first witness.
And again, knocks and bows in his decayed disarray. And, you know, like, yeah, he took some blows from that explosion, and the idea that Delta probably got hit on the head with a brick in the subsequent fallout, and that is where the blood on his hand came from, is not that big of a leap of imagination.
So, you see, we are back to where we began, Your Honor.
At this point, just to save you a little bit of a headache, Delta says,
Okay.
"Hey, what do you say? Like, I object." Oh, no, that's for a wedding.
Objection? Okay, so, how did I get hurt ever?
And like everyone's like, "What are you talking about?"
Just like, no. Okay, so you don't know this, but okay, you probably do. But I'm like absurdly lucky. Like ridiculously lucky. So I don't get hurt. Like that doesn't happen to me, right? So how could that happen to me?
This does not seem to persuade anybody. You're gonna have to help it.
You just have an idea.
Hmm?
Yeah. If Delta had suffered like a head wound that was bad enough that like it started bleeding, would there logically like be we could check for like a scar on his head?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Right, Ida's gonna bring that up. Hold it! The defense did indeed suffer a head wound severe enough to make it start bleeding, then wouldn't there logically be a scar left? The defense requests that we be allowed to check the defendant's head to see if there's any sign of a scar on there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sure, absolutely. You can do it, though. I'm not coming down from here. And the jester gives you permission.
Alright, Ida's gonna go over to the witness stand and say, like, okay, lean down a little bit. Actually, he's pretty short, so he probably doesn't have to lean down that much. She'll try to be very careful with the hair, but she's probably gonna end up, like messing up the curls a tiny bit. Just checking for any head wounds.
There are no visible head wounds, no visible scar.
Alrighty. We'll report that back to the court at large. Actually, we could probably add that to our court record, right? Like, that there's no sign of scars.
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
Delta looks
That's the court record.
fairly relieved about this. Like,
Right.
and then he says, "Well, I guess I must have escaped by casting another spell by accident, like an invisible spell or something, and that's how I
Hold
got
it.
away."
Another spell by accident?
Delta blushes deeply, and everybody is staring at him, and he's like, but then he seems to recover his usual confident demeanor. Well, I mean, you asked before, but I didn't really want to get into it, but I am divinely connected to the superb goddess of good fortune, Lady Luck. The way my magic works isn't that I particularly choose to cast spells, but the spells happen when I need them most. Before this incident, you know, I cast spells that I didn't know I knew. My teachers were, like, amazed. Some of them were a higher level than I was supposed to be capable of. And he looks very proud, and is apparently unaware of the wolfish smile of the judge in the background.
Yep, that does establish.
Yeah.
That's mean.
Mm-hmm. Anything you want to say before I continue?
Griff is like, well, the way to the truth is usually by exposing all of the truth.
Mm-hmm.
As I am sure that the judge and the prosecution have noted, this does prove that my client could have had the means to commit this act.
It is true that one of these same spells clearly caused the tragic demise of the deceased. Whilst there is no absolute proof as to which spell, the prosecution suggests immolation or some related cause of death.
The crowd are like, oh shit, that's like a really high level spell, what the fuck? Oh, lots of boos and hisses.
Doubtless his account is confession enough to render a verdict at this point and prevent a further waste of your time, Your Honor.
The judge
Objection.
nods.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, you can object. There's a good time to object. How are you gonna do it,
No,
though?
Kit was gonna say something.
Now, I was just gonna say, like before we reject that, like, the blood kind of implies the possibility of a third party, because, like, if Delta wasn't injured and the victim was immolated, then...
You wanna say it?
First of all, while there is a potential means that has been established, none of the evidence thus far has been definitive. There's been nothing more than circumstantial evidence. Second of all, the presence of blood and the lack of a head injury suggests that there could in fact have been a third party at the scene. Since we're talking about magic, it's entirely possible that, for instance, someone teleported in, or something of that nature.
There is some conversation about this, and the jester bangs his gavel and interjects.
Well, here's the thing about that. You see, Chuck did have an anti-magical force field. Whether he had it turned on at the time, we don't actually know, but if he did, then spells schmells. There's another thing that could have caused his untimely demise, isn't that right, prosecution? Yes, has been repeatedly and annoyingly stated by the culprit himself. Deltasong danger is abnormally lucky. At the time of the incident, there were deep storm clouds surrounding the tower, as was often aesthetically necessary for the headquarters of the boss of the Hyukuza. And the phenomenon known as a ball lightning has been noted as an extraordinarily unlikely event. The prosecution stipulates that whether it was magic or by sheer luck, regardless of which, the defendant was responsible ultimately for the demise of Chuck L. Bustle and should pay the price for his crime.
I see. Your Honor, I glance at you to say, hey, do we want to try this now? Do we want to try and call the third witness?
Yeah, Mod, do we want to try and do that now, as well, or...?
Yeah, I mean, we can. One little thing for the audience before you do that. How is Ida doing with channeling spirits?
Very good question. Let me roll, a whiz save, just to see how she's currently doing.
16.
16, alright, that's not too bad.
Not too bad.
See, like, I mean, that heroism definitely helped a bit earlier, so she's not nearly as, like, terrified as she was beforehand. I think she's definitely been kind of, like, you know, rolling around in her head the fact that, like, she might have to, you know, channel this, like, former Hyukuza boss. And, well, granted, like, on the one hand, it sounds like he's not, like, quite as bad as, like, you know, the jester is, like, just basing it on the reactions of everyone else. She is still a little bit nervous about, like, you know, like, having the idea of channeling, like, a crime boss. And not just that, but, like, having to do channeling, like, in front of, like, this many people, like, this big, vacuous crowd of, like, people who have shown they are very much,
yeah, that's why I'm
very
not
much
going
willing
crazy
to, like,
for a 16. Yeah. I'm just like, interesting. Okay.
Exactly.
Question is,
you know, jeer and throw trash and stuff. So,
are you going to try? Is the question.
Your Honor, the defense would like to call Chuck L. Muscle to the stand, says Griffin, because he can't resist the dramatics of it.
The response to this is enormous. Like, they're just like, what? What? Are you kidding? And, like, several people are like, yeah, oh my god, can we do that? Can we do that? Because the thing is, he was presumed, or at least has been, reduced to ash in this account. There was no way to recover these ashes. They were blown away by the wind. There was no way of magically reconstituting Chuck because, you know, we're in D&D. You can do that. You can revive people. Not in this case. He was immolated. But you're saying you can bring this motherfucker back? What? The jester is kind of like, actually, you know, like, what? Huh? What? Order! 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 Oh my. Shut up! Okay, we get it. We're very excited. I'm excited. What? You can do that? How? What?
I think he just
What?
he's probably like a little more nervous like now that like all eyes are on her again.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
gulps nervously.
He actually comes down from the desk and like right up to your face. The jester is just like, how? Tell me how.
Oh, it's a technique that's been passed down through my family for generations, and I currently hold the ability to do so as a spirit medium. And
You're one of those cells. Ooh, wow. Okay, yeah, I gotta see this.
And he rubs his hand back up to the seat. Okay, the judge gives permission
For this highly unusual experiment, please summon the spirit of Chuck L. Muscle, if you can. No
All right.
pressure. I mean, there's a lot of pressure. Like, if you couldn't do it because of the pressure, I really do understand. Or maybe you can't do it at all and you're just bluffing to buy more time because you did send out a little SOS. I was aware of that. But yes, you can try.
Just
by the way, because of all of that, you have a -6 to your roll.
a -6 to my what?
Your roll. And you are going to roll a wisdom save when you do this summoning.
Right on.
Can I? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh no, you were gonna say yeah.
I was just going to confirm. Does Griffin have the Magatama of parting in this?
I'll say yes. Yeah, if because in Bashverse we have that like
Okay.
just as a way like in case you need to get the spirit out of them. Mod,
I'll
you cool with that
accept
too?
I'll accept that as canon. Yeah,
Alright.
you have a means
Alright.
of getting rid of the spirit if it
Exactly.
currently.
Yeah, my headcanon was that like after like certain cases they basically decided okay maybe it's better if like we have this like just in case you know something goes wrong during a channeling.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Alright. You've got this. You can do this.
Right.
You can do this. I'm gonna give you bardic inspiration.
Yeah. All right. Alrighty.
Here goes the roll. I have a number.
So wisdom save, right?
Mhm.
Oh, that's So her modifier is a +6. So that means that this is going to be straight D20 with the
It's leveled up.
bardic.
I did that on purpose. Anyway.
Alrighty. Okay, so I'm gonna just add the D8 on there. To start with. Okay, so. Oh, that's a 10.
No. How does this feel when it fails? What does that feel like?
Yeah. I think like she's kind of imagining she probably goes up to the witness stand to like try and do this. And she's doing her she has like her little like hands clasp like the motion she's supposed to do with this. But like in her ears like is like just pounding with the sound of like the crowd because I'm guessing the crowd is probably like really really hyped up for this. Yeah, like she's about to do the spirit channeling, this amazing thing. And yeah, I think like just the sound pounding in her ears and like just all the pressure. And let me do a con save like just for flavor to see if like she gets like how woozy she gets from this.
I love that.
All right.
Oh no, that's
So that's a 6.
yeah. You
I'm
don't
gonna say-
fully faint, but you are like
Yeah.
wobbly.
If it was on that one, she probably would have fainted, but like she's definitely like she's like somebody might want to grab like she's probably like clutching the witness stand like to like keep
yeah,
herself from falling over.
Griffin will try and go over and steady her if he can.
The jester looks expectant and then disappointed. And then
Well, how disappointing. In light of overwhelming physical evidence, witness testimony, and the defendant's own clear admission of guilt, I am delighted
to finally declare my verdict. Deltasong Danger, I find you guilty.
Objection.
Ladies and gentlemen, and all beside, let's welcome to the stage Scru McCodger, the richest suck in town, played by our magnificent Obby. Thank you very, very much.
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
I've been waiting this whole time.
Yeah.
This is absolutely one of those moments where there's like just an objection on screen and then it like goes dun dun like a bunch of different
Shows
characters.
everybody's faces, yeah.
It is theoretically impossible to kick down the flap of the circus tent, but even so, the furious, foreboding, and positively magnificent form of the richest duck in Inkwell succeeds in doing so. Scru McCodger, the famous melodic magnate, makes his entrance. We also welcome Obby to the room. Hello, Obby.
Hello. Hi. It's me.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Thank you for joining in my little funny game here. Anyway, the court now in total disarray from this highly unexpected and very uninvited guest reels further with groans and boos as another rather out of breath looking Scot enters, accompanied by a professor carrying what looks to be the better part of a library. Hey, objection and all that. Peg's sake, Screw, you had to go and steal the spotlight after I pulled the cart all this way.
Well, I, unlike some people, value my time down to the millisecond, and it looks as though I spent it as wisely here as ever.
To bring us back to the point, Professor Woodleg elbows his paperwork between the two bickering Scots, who clearly are still not on friendly terms, understandably. I am also objecting to this premature conclusion of court proceedings, especially as the defendant has already been buried once.
And I will gladly be billing him for all funeral and legal expenses after we get this mess cleaned up.
Delta shrinks at the icy glare from his uncle, but even under the winces, sheer relief of the timely invasion is all too plain. And to explain, your little sending went a long way. It reached the right channels, and with quite a lot of magical scrying, not to mention map reading and deducing from railways and all that sort of thing, these three managed to get here just in time by the fastest means possible, which was strapping the engineer to a horse cart. Really dignified, you know?
I think like internally Ada's just like, yeah, thank you, Opal. Full MVP here.
Yeah, thank God.
If you'd like a little bit of conversational time, the court is dazed enough for you to introduce yourself.
I feel like Screw, now that he's like actually in the tent and like getting a read on the situation, he's like looking around at the very tiny desk that you guys are sitting behind, and waddles his way over, you know, as a duck would.
He's got quite smart.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm nervous. The Scots accent.
You're fine. You're doing fine.
I believe in you, Abby.
We love you.
So, am I right to assume that you're the folks defending my nephew?
That's correct, yes. Griffin left. Pleasure to meet you.
Screw McCodger, and he reaches a wing out to shake.
Griffin will shake. Yeah.
Ida will shake his hand too. You definitely notice this this girl in the purple robe. She seems like a little bit dazed, like a little bit like, I mean, she's not like passing out or anything, but like she's a little bit out of it, a little out of breath right now. Ida Slyph.
To note,
Does another handshake for Ida.
in
Maybe tries to be a little bit more steadying with her in particular.
In the background, you can just about make out Delta squawking in sort of like, you know, kind of trying to push them away, but also like, I'm happy to see them. Because the engineer has him in a headlock, just nugging the shit out of him. Like, just like, where the fuck You think you were the hell out of it? You know, and the professor is just like putting out the legal books and doing the research, and you know, when he has a spare moment, giving Delta a pat on the back for not being dead, but he's feeling a bit skeeved. He's being a little bit sassy about this whole thing, like, you did what, boy? Excuse me? So, yeah, he's did what, boy? Conversation with him really yeah, he's grounded for life, even though he was buried. Okay, so, yes, right. Legal team meets other legal team.
Yeah.
Legal team, squared!
Actually, wait, can I do a quick bit real quick?
Yes, please.
Edith's still a little out of it. I think she kind of, like, blurrily looks over at, like, you know, the engineer noogieing Delta, like, you know, am I seeing things, or is that the engineer?
Who's
no,
that?
you're not. That's actually the engineer.
Hey, I know, I'm twice as beautiful in person. I know, it's quite overwhelming. Anyway,
Insisted on coming.
Yeah, Edith's like,
even though she's still mishandled.
Got like the slightly like starry-eyed look in her eyes, like so cool.
This is the final straw I do here. It goes off several times. He's so insulted. Order in this uninvited, amicable, even alliance will be quiet. I'll have a lot of you deep fried with the side of, oh, that sounds quite nice, actually. Who's up for a spot of fried duck after this? And various members of the jury and a large part of the audience raise their hands. Playface, which is the Aardman-esque type claymation creature, goes around discreetly taking orders for the post-trial meal.
Despite how hungry the defense is, we suddenly lose our appetites.
Forgive the unintended chaos, Your Honor. Oh, thank you lot can learn patience.
It's matter like a dishonor, but, you know, carry on, whatever.
But my objection, I believe, does stand in light of new material, namely that of various character statements from sources that can attest to the nature of the defendant, wherein we will prove that this hapless, lazy, arrogant, and ultimately stupid creature is incapable of the crime in question.
Excuse me?
Indeed, we will be forced to minutely inspect the concept that it was not Delta, but rather luck itself that was the guilty party. A curse-like force inflicted on him at birth, and therefore entirely outside of his control.
Don't you talk about her like that. Sit down, lady, we'll handle it.
And of course, our professor's newly discovered DNA will likely be able to test any evidence that was hitherto...
How? Impossible! How can it be here? And the professor in question has spotted the strange pipe organ-like machine that you spotted at the beginning. This thing that the puppet-style tune has been using to accompany the dramatic court proceedings with thematically appropriate music, which is copyrighted, so we're not playing it. Indeed, aside from the Tesla coils and general Frankenstein-esque additions, this invention is perfectly identical to the DNA machine in Woodlig's own laboratory.
Yeah, I wonder how they got the blueprints for that. Looks at
Totally
looks at a certain game.
Yeah.
Haha. We've come full circle, haven't we?
Yeah,
We certainly have.
Mr. M, would you like to say anything in regards to this outburst from the professor?
Wait, would I?
What, you mean this pretty little number? Glad you like it, made it myself. And like, as he's saying this, he's like inspecting the quote-unquote nails on his gloved hand. It's the latest in crime-busting technology.
This here is my machine. A little altered in the aesthetics, but
Well, it didn't really fit in with our whole look, so I may have taken a few liberties on top of the blueprints. You're quite right, though. It's exactly the same and functions just as well. Perhaps even a bit better. Isn't that good news?
he's doing the Donald, like the massive angry duck. The engineer has to hold the professor back and is like, oh, okay, this doesn't usually happen, alright.
Dang.
Mr. M is just grinning ear to ear.
Yeah, we love to see it. The jester smiles benevolently down at the little furious. Professor, your usual course is so slow to accept new and true science, but I'm quite an expert on science myself, and, well, shouldn't you be flattered? We simply must have the best of the best here in the Hyukuza. See, it's not that much of a bad deal having to work for us, which you will when you inevitably lose. The jester leers down at you, Nick Anita, with an indulgent smile.
Or did your client not mention that little detail?
Sorry. What?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay. So if we lose the case, we work for you. That's the stakes.
Delta's eyes are so big, and like he's trying to walk sideways out of the scene, like off screen, like, you know, and someone pushes
Scru
him back on stage.
grabs him by the figurative. No, Scru's the one who grabs him by the figurative ear and.
Okay, like, I didn't really know about that for sure. I thought they were joking, but yeah, okay.
It's the Hyukuza. They don't tend to joke even when they do.
Yeah, well, I was at a groups end, so, like, sorry. I didn't know you were gonna show up, Uncle.
Scru's just handing me just glowering. And giving, like, a small bap on the back of the head.
Meanwhile, Ida's like whispering to Griff, like, if we cannot lose this case, I cannot pull off pinstripes.
Oh God. Yeah, it's really not my color.
Boy. The jester is just watching all this.
We'd get arrested so fast, and he'd be so smug about it. You know, he'd be so shitty about it.
He would.
Jester's just watching this with some entertainment, but he's also just like,
Really is annoying when people don't get up to speed before the fun starts. Did you read the rulebook, like nitwit over here? My name is Nitpicker, or whatever. Just tell them.
Nitpicker summons a scroll out of these reams of many, many scrolls and books and reads the following.
In the likely case the defendant should lose, the defendant is also forfeit and shall thenceforth be owned indefinitely and employed as desired by the Hyukuza.
The audience is like, woo, yeah,
mentioned that until now.
we got Scru McCodger, we're rich, yeah! They're like celebrating already because you're so gonna lose.
This also applies to the latest additions to the defendant's legal representation. Yes, we know. Okay, stop talking. Please. Oh my god, I hate your voice so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's a good thing I don't intend to lose. I don't think you've noticed, but you're going up against Scru McCodger. I know my way around a law book.
Yes, you do, don't you?
The engineer's just glaring at him. Has not forgotten what you did to him in court. Hello. He's also like,
Ray, remember that when I sued the engineer to hell and back? Yeah.
Speaking of hell and back, why is nobody actually trying to murder me? I thought that was like a whole thing with you.
And he's looking at the jester, and the jester's like,
it's against the rules. Trust me, I would if I could.
By the way, sorry to interrupt, Mod, you're kind of cutting in and out again.
damn it all. Oh my
Just
god.
a little bit.
Yeah, the engineer was just like, why aren't you trying to murder me? And the jester was like, I would if I could, bitch. So, alright, we need to come up with a plan, like, now.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh yeah. Okay. Plan. I don't usually have one of those. That'd be fun.
Blood.
In quick succession, Scru uses his cane to grab everyone involved, some by the neck, Delta, into a huddle.
Alright. Want to just fast forward and say that, like, we share, like, all the info that we've gotten about the case so far with them?
Fast forward, tune speak.
Okay, so we're basically picked. create. Okay, glad to know. I'm going to be wearing pinstripes for the rest of my pecking life, which is probably going to be very short.
The problem is they haven't let you have enough access to evidence.
If we could just get, like, a map of the room or just a little bit more, then maybe we could have something.
Like forensics or an autopsy report or just, like, anything to show, like, what...
Oh, yeah, sure. You can just walk up to them and say, hey, do you mind if we go investigate the crime scene? Yeah, that'll work.
It wouldn't be a bad idea.
It wouldn't.
I mean, we could try.
Delta looks like.
I mean, as long as we keep we keep these folks entertained, I don't think they'd mind if we got the opportunity to get a little bit more evidence.
Oh, Uncle, please don't put me back on the wheel. I'm so dizzy.
I don't think.
So, wait,
Yeah.
So we hold the fort here, we try and keep the court going. You two ask permission to go investigate. You know what? It's not worth, maybe worth a try. You never know. They're just as funny guys. Peculiar funny, not funny, obviously.
Oh, you're kind of cutting in and out again, Mod.
Oh my god, I'm gonna, like, disconnect and come back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. I hit the wrong thing.
You're all good.
I'm bad at this. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Alright, basically the engineer was like, so, okay, we'll hold the fort, try and keep this show going. I can at least have some experience with doing that, spin the wheels a bit. You two ask to go and investigate. It might work, you never know.
Griffin, like, without a hint of irony, he has no idea who he's talking to. Is like, do you know anything about entertaining? Like, will you be able to keep the crowd?
There is a loud snort from Scru.
Yeah.
I think Edie kind of gives him a look too. Like, really?
What are you guys looking at me for?
The engineer's face is like
Popular as
between
you
being
thought there, huh?
so insulted but also amused, but like so insulted. Like,
Not as popular as you thought, eh?
Oh, forget it.
Scru looks so pleased.
See, Griff's kind of out of the loop of a lot of, like, popular stuff. I promise it's not you, Mr. Engineer.
Thank you. At least somebody here has good taste. Oh, you're talking about me, sweetie. Oh, by the way, I have been listening.
The jester is in the group huddle. You don't know when he appeared. He's just there, and everyone's like, oh my god! So jump scared.
Scru doesn't bat an eye.
The engineer's doing the sort of rolling his hands around, his sort of pointing, you wanna fight? And it's like, no.
Scru's gonna, like, hold the engineer back with the cane, because not only can they not be killed, we also can't kill him.
Shit.
As much as we want to.
It's a real shame.
Well, you were chatting and I got, FOMO, so... anyway, I should get back up there.
Back up on the chair. Does the defense...
I can't do the serious voice. Does the defense have anything they wish to add before I die of boredom before the verdict?
The defense would like to request the right to investigate the crime scene. Please.
And like the entire courtroom is just like cry laughing. Like, are you serious? Are you serious? In fact, like, suggestions of this is like foul play. Another fresh wave of rotten fruit sallies forth. Let's all do a roll, dex save. Let's see how messy we all are. Let's go for it, man.
Alright.
Yippee! I get to roll once!
I had to give you
It's a
something.
5 for Mita. It kind of makes sense. You're still a little out of it. For dear.
AA3 was training for Griffin. He can dodge things thrown at him now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Dodge a coffee cup, you can dodge a tomato.
God damn it. Delta's luck is not holding out for these, like, the comedy shots. Like, we're all funny. He gets absolutely plastered with rotten fruit. It's just bad.
Oh,
Either
sorry,
rolled
that's
even worse, so
21,
she's kitten.
Yeah. In fact, like, after this assail, like, the rest of us have to peel Ida and Delta off the floor, and there's, like, a perfect silhouette left on the floor in the mush.
Of just tomato guck.
Just tomato guck. It kind of looks like there's been a murder, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. So, yeah, that's an interesting
I was gonna have you to say one thing.
Sure.
Well, look at it this way. I mean, wouldn't it be even more boring to have the show end like this prematurely?
The judge is...
Plus, I can provide a few entertaining right hooks one now and then.
The judge has closed his eyes at Ida's interjection in a thoughtful manner. He's tapping his chin before coming to a conclusion. His eyes start open with a manic grin. He bangs his gavel to bring court to order one final time before the end of this particular game. Very well. The courtroom recognizes the wishes of the defense and finds them most amusing. We being a merciful court in such a truth, justice, entertainment, all that, shall grant you this boon. But your honor...
Oh, shut it, Nitlicker. Let's have some fun.
This will be over too quickly otherwise, and where's the joy in that? The jester points his gavel officiously at the twin unicorns. Flim, flam, oh no, wait, those are the originals. I mean, skim, scam. I forget what universe I'm in sometimes, forgive me. I want you to accompany these two lawyers to the scene of the crime. See that they play fair. Any questions they have that you can answer, you can answer. You were there at the time, after all. And the two unicorns nod obediently, though they look a little surprised.
Sorry, hold it. They were there?
Didn't anyone mention this?
Well, we thought it was superfluous to details to call more than one witness, considering the one surely should have been satisfactory.
And the prosecutor is looking at the judge, like, really disapprovingly, like,
This is highly irregular, Your Honor.
I am irregular all the time. Thank you for the compliment. Okay, you lot, go enjoy your little field trip. Oh, and just one last thing. If you haven't returned to this court before sunrise, then I will rule my verdict without you. The jester smiles. Toodaloo. End of the game.
Oh boy.
End of game one.
All right.
End of game
one.
Woo, baby. That took a while. I'm sorry that went long, but yeah. Woo.
Don't apologize. That was amazing.
Win it. I was sorry I kept
That
cutting
was
out.
pretty much exactly 2 hours and 30 minutes, which is what you said.
Yeah, that was
So
pretty
that's-
good.
Really? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Did.
Yeah.
Did it right. Oh, I'm pleased. So, for some reason, I misread that as like 3 hours, and I was like, oh my god. Okay.
Started at 9, so.
I'm sorry I kept cutting out. No idea why, but here we go. Discord hates
You
me
are
for
good.
Hey.
That's you.
Thank you very much for causing me so many problems. That's exactly what lawyers should do. This was marvelous. I apologize for stuttering and stumbling over my words. Highly scripted material is not natural to me. And oh my god, Liz has drawn the noogie. I'm so happy about this. Thank you. Thank you for my
I can't wait to check. Like,
I can't wait to
for
read
the
through the
art.
gallery. I haven't been looking at it, so...
Me too, yeah.
Thank you all very, very much. Is there anything any of you would like to add before I say goodbye to you all?
I think anything we can pick up in the next game, so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy, yeah, you get to investigate. Yippee! You can go anywhere. I'm gonna have a hell of a time dealing with that, but it's
Just
gonna
like
be
my
really
favorite Ace
fun.
Attorney game.
Really fun. And you never know, we may have some more special guests, but we'll see. We'll see next time. Exciting. Heads up, it will be a while. It'll be a while before I can run that. There's a lot happening, voice acting and people visiting and weddings and lovely things like that. But yeah, I want to get this game happening and done, and the finale being a finale, it should be final. Hooray! So, yeah. Not that next game will be the finale, there's going to be I think there's going to probably be 2 more games at least, if not 3, probably.
Alrighty.
That makes sense. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You are all wonderful. Abby, thank you very, very much for your timely interjection.
I think
Thank you
that's
so
the
much.
background.
Saving my
That was
voice.
perfect, yeah.
It was so good. All right. Thank you very much. And I'll catch you all next time on the Trial of Deltasong Danger. Woo!
Woo!
Bye, goodbye.